2020, when it came out, is directly responsible for inspiring me to become an actual pilot.
That's
like
awesome.
It went from that to this is great to I don't know what the hell any of these people are talking about. So I took a ground school class just to do it, just to be a better flight simulator.
Yeah.
And then I got everybody talking in the class. I was like, I gotta try. I gotta at least try.
That's great.
And then a year ago, I got my private pilot. So directly related to your
Congratulations.
So hi, this is Ivan, and welcome to the channel again, and I am so happy to be sitting here with Jorg from Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we're going to just kind of talk a little bit about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024.
24.
I got to say, I'm excited about this. Well, let me go back a little bit. When you first announced, I was like, is this going to be an iteration? Is this just a mild upgrade? Is this what's going on? But after the keynote last night, I am 100% on board. So kind of talk to us about what inspired you guys to say, you know what, we need a 2024, and instead of writing 2020 out, what was going on?
Couple of things. So first off, the creator community is one of them.
Okay.
Much more creative than we thought, or much more, my God. There are 3,000 add-ons now.
Sure.
And so that's a huge amount of volume. And then we did, obviously, we promised monthly updates. We did the monthly updates. And when you look at how big it got,
sure.
We're like at 300 gig now, and we did some projections of where we're going to be. And we're going to be at like above a terabyte game, which
oh my gosh.
That at some point it becomes unfeasible. Like it's like, what are we doing?
Right.
So it was pretty clear that if we want to build something for the long term, we needed an architectural change, which
sure.
is why we said we need to offload more to the cloud, keep the client thin, and that enables us to add literally whatever for a long time. And then the other thing is technology is changing at such a rapid pace.
Sure.
It is, we can say let's sit on 2020 till 2030, but you're sitting on an old piece of software then.
That's true.
So I think it's really good. I mean, for me, it's the best news there is for flight simming. I mean, frankly, we got funding to make a huge ass sim. That
right.
is great. It's good for the hobby. It's gonna set us up for the long term.
And I know there's so many pilots out there. There's flight simulation enthusiasts, but I know a lot of people out there that are actual pilots. And you know, when the pandemic was going strong, Microsoft Flight Simulator was how a lot of pilots kept their jobs. It's how they stayed in shape. And so do you ever hear from those pilots?
I do. Yeah, I mean, I think it brought, like your story, it brought new people into becoming pilots.
Sure.
It kept the other pilots fresh as the planes were grounded. So it was a big deal during the pandemic. And yeah, I mean, it's been fascinating because it inspires us to get better. Like, so when real pilots play a sim or sim, yeah, they give you lots of feedback of like, hey, you know, here's how this really works. And so we benefited greatly from tens of thousands probably of pilots giving us input.
Now, I like the way you said that, because I have to think that being head of a developer group, where you're developing a piece of software that is adored by people who are very detail-oriented and as such have very strong opinions
Definitely.
about how things need to be done. And should you veer to the left or the right a little bit, I'm sure you hear about it right away.
Right away.
And does that ever inform your decision? Does that ever make you go, oh my gosh, this is too much. This is just too much.
No, I mean we are trying to make the perfect sim. That is what we do, like this, and any piece of feedback is positive, and specifically when it comes from a knowledgeable group, and that's a nice thing about pilots, right? I mean, as you know, pilots they're very structured. They have to be.
Sure.
And so they are very detail oriented, and they're also very accurate, and that's great, right? Because there's opinions about everything in the world, right?
Pilots do have opinions.
But a lot of it is fact-based.
Sure,
right? And
absolutely.
that actually helps us a lot. And then we're like, hey, awesome. If we got something slightly wrong, let's go fix it.
A very frequent topic that comes up on some of the pilot forums is the use of Microsoft Flight Simulator in training and their daily use. And what's interesting is somebody will come on and say, hey, I'm a pilot, I'm a student pilot, is there any benefit of getting Microsoft Flight Simulator? And then this guy will get, or this girl will get 200 responses, and this is what you need, and these are the add-ons that you need, and this is the computer that you need, and it's just very, very detailed.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
I mean, I would say, you just got your pilot license, right?
I did a year ago.
What did your instructor say?
So actually, my very first flight, he asked, we met, he said, do you have any experience? And I'm like, all my experience is all sim-based, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and I do call it Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020.
Hey, now we do too now. We've given up calling it Microsoft Flight Simulator. Everybody said 2020, we're like, okay, fine.
Well, welcome aboard. So we go up in the air, and he asked me, okay, let's do a basic turn. Well, he noticed that as I turned, I also pulled back on the yoke a little bit.
Yep.
Meaning I didn't just turn where the plane would have
Right.
turned, banked, and then also descended.
Right, yeah.
And he said, it's very clear to me that you learned that from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you have to do it in the flight simulator. So it's beneficial to the point that my instructor was very much aware of it and thought of it. And he would even say, when you go home this week, I want you to practice
And
these things.
that's the common story. The common story is it everything you need in order to get your pilot's license? No. Is it giving you a head start to understand?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
even if you play VR, I always say, like, I get my butt ready, like I'm looking over my shoulder, and it actually, the automatisms are so similar. But, you know, procedural training, those types of things, obviously we don't do. So
Well,
it's a step.
One of the big benefits, and actually I just got through speaking to them, are the VADSIM guys. And the integration with VADSIM and Microsoft Flight Simulators it's amazing. I mean, it's lockstep. And that, to me, is, and I just told them that, you got some great hardware out there. You absolutely do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the flight simulator, and then it's like VADSIM. And those two pieces of software together,
Works.
their network and your network, put together, it is unbeatable.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
unbeatable. I mean, that is as real as it gets. There's no other flight sim type, whether it's racing, because I do some racing stuff as well. There's really nothing out there that even compares to that level of realism.
I love that you say as real as it gets. That used to be our tagline. Remember this? Until, like, I think 2004, it used to be Microsoft Flight Simulator as real as it gets. And then we struck that and said, the sky is calling. But I mean, that's the attempt. As real as it gets, as real as we can.
Sure. Well, I know there's a lot of questions about 2024, and we're going to be hearing stuff as you guys release it, and I'm very excited to.
There's lots more to be said.
Ears will be tuned, and I hope to be hearing some stuff soon. But I know you're busy, and I appreciate your time.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
So again, Flight Sim Expo 2023. I've got Jorg from Microsoft Flight Sim, and this has been a wonderful interview. And thank you for your time, and there'll be more to come.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. I appreciate it. That was awesome.